I hope you're doing well today. I hope you have nothing but good health, prosperity, a strong mindset, and a healthy vision for the future. I've been thinking a lot about taking big risk in life. You know what I mean? The leap of faith, the transition period, going from one aspiration to the next. You know, the interesting thing about life is that we spend most of it working. And most people, they find themselves in positions where the work that they do doesn't fulfill them whatsoever. And I think that's just a result of falling into work versus deciding the work you do. You know what I'm saying? If you have control over the kind of work that you're involved in, you'll have a better life satisfaction. So there's two things that'll get you far in life: the ability to accept rejection and deal with it relatively quickly, and your ability to take risk and recover from it, right? If you think about it, man, fortune favors the bold. Yeah, let me bring you down a little bit. You're kind of like too high. I look so small. When you put yourself in a position where you shy away from taking big decisions in life, you'll always just end up in the same spot. And I think this applies to more than just your career. If you think about the relationships that you have, if you're not willing to ask for what you want, you're not willing to risk being rejected, or to risk being vulnerable, or to risk opening up to people that you care about, you're gonna end up in a position where you bottle up a lot of internal turmoil because you're not gonna be happy, right? You gotta risk being vulnerable in order to have access to opportunities. The hardest part with taking a big risk is the uncertainty. When you're unfamiliar with the outcome that's going to be associated to the risk you take, it becomes a lot more daunting. But I think a good exercise to do, and I got this exercise idea from the 4 Hour Work Week by, I think it's Tim Ferriss. It's about basically envisioning what the worst case scenario would be. What is the absolute worst thing that can happen if you decide to take a risk today that you've wanted to do for a while? Will you end up homeless? Will you end up injured, poor, on the street begging for scraps? Sir, please, may I have $1? Is that going to be you? You know? If it's the case, how are you going to fix it? What can you do as a backup plan? So let's say that you had a crystal ball, and in that crystal ball, you could see how the world would play out, your life would play out if you took both sides of the risk. So if you take the risk, right, what would that look like? And then if you don't take the risk, what does that look like? And if you're able to distinguish and know for a fact that one side is going to end up like this and the other side is not going to end up like that, would you do it? I got to get on the highway, and I know there better not be that much traffic, bro. Traffic, man, I'm telling you. I wish that my car could, like, jump over other cars. You know what I mean? It's 2025. We were supposed to have flying cars by now. They said it in the movies. And you know what we have? We have brain rot. We have TikTok brain rot. What have we done as a society? The future where you take the risk and you fail, and then the future where you take the risk and you succeed. If you saw both outcomes clearly and tangibly, do you think you would still be as likely to avoid taking the risk? Because if you think about it, the outcome where you succeed is the one that you want, right? So the upside is going to be way higher than the downside of if you don't get what you want, right? Honestly, it is true that we're in a tough situation and the world is going in a weird direction, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Because if you think about it, right, the structure of society is made to be abundant. If you genuinely look at how the world operates, there are hundreds of thousands of job opportunities available to you. You know what I mean? There are hundreds of thousands of backup plans, contingencies. If you have a network of people, like, you can have people that you can rely on, hopefully, that can help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a way. As funny as it sounds, or as scary as it sounds, there's always a way out and there's always a way up. I think if you have responsibilities, it's a lot harder for you to jump ship and look into other avenues or ways of life, right? Like kids and family and that kind of stuff. It's a lot more difficult. I won't argue that. But I do think if you stay within the same situation out of fear or a lack of self-confidence, I do believe that that's a lot more detrimental to your well-being, because it's not a tangible obstacle. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is very subjective. A lot of it just comes down to, oh, are you willing to do it or are you not willing to do it? You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm trying to say is this: if you have the opportunity to take a risk that you know has a better upside to your future, you might as well take the risk. And if you fail, look for the backups. I learned how to do a backflip. If you don't believe me, watch the shorts. You know what I'm saying? It's probably over here. I don't know how it works, but I learned how to do a backflip, and it's something my instructor told me that stuck with me to this day. Is when you go for the flip and you land, you have to basically assess where your balance is going to be, where your center of gravity, especially when you're new to it. So what I would do a lot is I would jump and then I would shoot my body forward and stick my hands out to brace before I even landed the flip. And he told me, he goes, let yourself land first and then decide if you failed after. You get what I'm saying? Like, try and then see if you're gonna fail. Let reality decide if you failed or not. Don't let theory and fear and doubt play into your brain. You get what I'm saying? So that's the message for today. Watch this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow.